We're ready. Thank you. All right. The next is Terry Ann Farr. Ms. Farr, come on up. Is the state ready on Terry Ann Farr?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Farr. Are you ready to go forward with trial?
I apologize for being a little late. And she called me. But I was
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you just fine. All right. So, Ms. Farr, you're before the court on too close with an accident, case 2022 TK 15788.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
state has the burden of proving the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You do not have to give any evidence or testimony in this case. If you choose to give
Okay.
If you choose to give evidence or testimony in this case, then I will tell you at the appropriate time when you can do that. If the state presents witnesses, then you have the right, after they have questioned their witness, you have the right to ask any questions that you may have for the witness. Just ask questions that are appropriate to the accident, what happened at the accident, what may have caused the accident, any of those questions that would help me make a determination in this case. And once you have finished your questions, then the state may call its next witness. Once they have finished with their case, then if you wish to give testimony and evidence, you may, but you are not required to. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's okay, ma'am. Your Honor, it's fine. Ms. John VA, call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would like to call Mr. Eric Underwood.
See, Mr. Underwood is on video. Mr. Underwood, may we hear you and see you, sir? All right, so Mr. Underwood, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand out. So, Mr. Underwood, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Terry Ann Farr, 2022 TK 15788. Too close with an accident. All right.
Okay.
Ms. John VA.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Eric Underwood.
And Mr. Underwood, are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you employed?
Shaw Industries.
And Mr. Underwood, are you familiar with the vehicle collision that occurred on October 22nd of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you familiar with that collision?
I was the driver in the car that got hit.
Okay. And do you recall where that happened, what street that occurred on?
I was on Terra Boulevard.
Okay. Do you recall if there were any cross streets or?
We was at an intersection, but I don't know I don't know the name of it.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Do you recall what county that occurred in?
Clayton County.
Okay. Thank you for that. And so you said you were the vehicle that was hit in the collision. Can you tell us about what happened on that day?
Me and my girlfriend and our two children, we was leaving from Six Flags and headed to Griffin. And we come up on the intersection at a red light, and all I remember is I was looking up at the red light, it turned green, and then we got hit from the rear.
And what happened directly after you were hit in the rear?
I turned the flashers on, and me and the lady spoke briefly.
Did you get out of your vehicle?
Yes.
And you said you and the lady. Do you happen to know who the lady is or was?
Miss Farr.
Okay. And if you had to identify her again today, if you saw her today in the courtroom, would you be able to identify her?
Yes, ma'am. I can see her in the little square on the screen.
Can you describe her by an article of clothing or an article that you see at the moment?
No, not by clothing. It was at night.
Today, as you see her today, can you identify her by an article of clothing or how you see her today?
Oh, yes, she's in the red shirt.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And do you recall the type of vehicle that Ms. Farr was operating when she hit you?
It was a Honda Ridgeline.
Do you recall the color of it?
I think it was maroon. Like I said, it was dark, but I'm pretty sure it was maroon.
Okay. And so you said you got out of your vehicle. What did you do when you got out of your vehicle?
Well, my kids was screaming in the back and crying and stuff. So I checked on them, and then I checked with her, and we just had to wait on the police.
Okay. Who called the police?
I believe we did.
Okay. And while you were waiting, were you able to assess any damage or see any damage to your vehicle or her vehicle?
Yeah, the back of our vehicle was crushed in pretty bad, like the whole trunk area. And her vehicle didn't have a whole lot of damage to the front, but it was leaking fluid and stuff. I remember seeing that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And so did the police ever arrive on the scene?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to speak with them?
Yes.
And what did you tell the police?
I pretty much just told them what I told you. As I come up on the intersection, I was navigating into the left-hand lane, and we were sitting at the red light, and I remember it turning green, and then boom.
And to your knowledge, did the police officer speak with Ms. Farr as well?
Yes.
And after speaking with both of you all, did you receive a citation?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if Ms. Farr received a citation?
I mean, I thought that's why we're on court at court today, because I think she did. I'm not sure. I don't have anything that says she did, but
Okay, that's fine. No, thank you for that. All right. And that's all my questions at this moment, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Farr, did you have any questions for Mr. Underwood?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Your Honor, I apologize again. Yes, I do. One, this audio, which is on the USB drive, is not original.
What audio, ma'am?
The audio that I reviewed, along with the body cam that I had ordered, I had subpoenaed a body cam.
Okay, Miss Farr, you're moving too fast. So Mr. Underwood just gave his testimony. Did you have any questions for him?
That's what I'm responding to y'all, and I'm starting off with the video cam.
What video?
From the body cam of the officer.
Okay, so Mr. Underwood presumably doesn't have the body cam or the video.
no,
Do
ma'am.
you have any questions about what he just testified to?
Because my question is going to reflect that video.
Well, I haven't seen video. There's no video and evidence, but I have Mr. Underwood's testimony, which is all I have right now. And if you have any questions for what he said, that's fine. If not, we'll release him and go to the next witness.
Well, what I wanted to say was, because the fact that the reason why I brought that up, because when we first had court hearing, the first court hearing we had,
Yes, ma'am.
made a statement on that first court hearing. And in that court hearing we had in the beginning, he indicated that he was going down Terra Boulevard to make a left turn to go to Taco Bell's. And then when he said he was making the left turn, he made it in a sudden stop. All this was preset at the first hearing. And that's why I wanted to elaborate along with the body cam.
Okay, ma'am, all I have here is what he just said. I can't consider anything from the first hearing. I can only consider what is in evidence before me today. All I have so far is Mr. Underwood's testimony. Did you have anything to ask him? I mean, if you want to ask him if he was going to Taco Bell, ask him, but it doesn't really relate to a video.
Well, no, it's not the principle of asking him if he went to Taco Bell. The principle is that the body cam, the reason why I subpoenaed it, because that was my evidence to support my case. And in that subpoena of that evidence, is based on his statement that he stated to you in the beginning, based on the body cam, and based on my questioning. Because on the body cam and his statement that was previous is conflicting on what he said.
Okay, but what I'm saying is we can get to that. We're just not there yet. There's no body cam. There's nothing in evidence except Mr. Underwood's statement. Did you wish to ask him any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And like my question was, again, he had indicated in the beginning of the hearing, and I just want to reflect that again to this matter, because all that's the same matter. I don't know.
Okay, I get that, but ma'am, every time, okay, I continued the case to allow you to get whatever it is you wanted to get. I remember this, but this is a brand new thing, brand new. So
it would be brand new. I thought it was a continuation of the.
No, I continued it because you said you needed that there was things not in evidence that you had subpoenaed. So I hadn't heard it really any testimony. I continued it for you to get what you felt like you needed. But right now, I'm asking you to ask Mr. Underwood any questions you have regarding his testimony. The things you're talking about aren't in evidence yet. I don't have anything else in evidence right now except Mr. Underwood's testimony. And before we talk about it, if you're referring to a video, a body cam, any of that, it has to be in evidence.
I understand. And it is in evidence.
No, ma'am, it's not. It hasn't been admitted before the court.
Get it into the court session here?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to understand.
Okay.
I just want to understand.
Did you have a question?
Yes.
All right. Did you have a question for Mr. Underwood?
And my question is for him again is that you indicated that you were going down Tyra Boulevard. I have a question. When you were going down Tyra Boulevard, were you going based on? Because it's like talking to a black. I talk over here. It was basically going on what you stated into the court and stated to me before the court that you had stopped. You didn't and to make a left, and you realized that your correct statement you stated?
No, ma'am. I said I stopped at a red light.
I'm sorry, Mr. Underwood, before you answer, I was objecting. I didn't hear a question, but I don't know this question was relevant to testimony given today. I didn't hear what she said all the way at the end.
What I'm saying is because I don't see how the first case became out of order. And I'm just my question to him. I just wanted to know. My question to him is, if he was going, why did you stop suddenly to make an illegal left? That's my question. Or you stopped to make an illegal left, and
I stopped at a red light.
No, you were not the light because you're beyond that point of the light. You were going on, and then you went.
You're at this point, Ms. Farr is testifying.
Ms. Farr, you're testifying. He answered the question, and he said you can't change his mind. You can give testimony yourself at a later time, but if he answers the question, you can't tell him what he should have said.
Well, it wasn't what he should have said. It was just industry. I'm sorry about asking you wrong.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question or not?
Ms. Farr, so the way this goes is if you ask him a question and he responds, you can't tell him you're wrong. You did such and such, because that's you testifying. If he testifies, then unless something else comes up or you testify, I got to take that at face value. You can't tell him how to testify.
All right.
Okay. Did you have another question for Mr. Underwood?
At the time of the driving, did you have driver's license?
Yes.
Okay, that's not relevant to what I need to know. Miss
Farr.
Okay, Miss Farr, what does that have to do with the ticket that you received?
Well, because the ticket that I received is, if I received a ticket saying that I followed too close, but you stopped on illegal, you slammed on your brakes to make a left, then I'm trying to justify why would you turn around in court and not state the actual evidence of what happened.
Okay, well, what people can have different views of the same event. That it happens in court all day, every day. So his driver's license or no driver's license doesn't really concern me because what I'm here for is a rear-end car accident.
I understand, but when the driver's license came up in question, he jumped out to me. He came out to me out of his car. And he said, please tell him I don't have driver's license. So
Okay, ma'am, Ms. Farr, you're testifying. Did you have any other questions for Mr. Underwood?
my question to Mr. Underwood is that I want to know, did you come from one lane and go into another lane? And then did you do that? Did you go from one lane to another lane at any point?
As I was coming up on the intersection, navigated over into the left-hand lane because there was cars sitting at the red light on the other two lanes. So I navigated to the left. I was the first car at the red light.
I asked you a question. You said when you come from the freeway, there's a distance from the freeway. You have a street right before you come from the freeway, which is Upper Riverdale, and then you have Arrowhead.
I was on Terra Boulevard for a good ways. Like I said, I'm not from the area, but I'd been going down Terra Boulevard for a good ways when I come up on that red light.
My question is, at what point did you get where you said you made this lane change?
Probably about 4 car lengths before I come up on the red light.
I didn't understand it.
Probably about 4 car lengths before I come up on the red light.
You said 4 car lengths?
Yeah, I'm estimating, yeah.
Okay. Can I ask him another question to this matter?
You may.
Okay. When you indicated that you were going down and you made a turn until, did you merge over or did you go over it? That's my question. Did you merge into it or did you go into it?
No, right there at the intersection, Terra Boulevard, I guess it's like a 3 or 4 lane right there. And I went from, let me see, I went from the second farthest lane to the left to the farthest lane to the left and stopped at the red light.
So I'm in disagreement with you because I was following you all the way down. I was behind you consistently.
All right, Ms. Farr, you can't, you can testify when you're ready to testify, but you can't tell him what he should be testifying to.
I'm in disagreement. I didn't say.
You can disagree when it's your turn to testify.
Okay. I didn't know.
But I've said it 3 times.
I'm learning. I'm just learning now how to question these things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just learning.
Alexa,
And I'm just trying
turn
to
off.
do the best that I can.
Okay, did you have any other questions? But I've said it 3 times.
I'm learning. I'm just learning now how to question these things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just learning. And I'm just trying to do the best that I can.
Okay, did you have any other questions for Mr. Underwood?
Yes, ma'am. At what point did you get out of your vehicle?
I mean, after the incident occurred, I was kind of scared for my kids because we got pushed out into the intersection where other cars was going. So that's when I turned on my flashers, checked on the kids. And me and you spoke briefly, asked if each other was okay.
I'd like to ask a question to that. You said you got out of your car and you checked on your kids?
Yes, they was crying, screaming. It scared them. They was in the back seat.
Okay. I have another question here. My question is, when you got out of your car, was I at your vehicle at any point for a long period of time, or did I come to your vehicle?
Yeah, I believe you did walk up to the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. I never came. You don't know if I came there at some period of time and stayed.
Ms. Farr, you got to speak up and you got to stay close to the computer.
Okay, you said that you don't know at any time how long of a time that you stayed at your vehicle?
No, there was a lot going on. Like I said, there's traffic going on all around us. I believe you did walk up and speak with me, though.
And you said there was traffic?
Yes, we was in the middle of the intersection.
We were in the middle of the intersection?
My car was pushed out into the intersection.
So I'm asking you a question. If I hit your car, shouldn't it have been, were you on the brakes or were you off the brakes? Or were you?
My car was hit as soon as the light turned green.
So
That's all I know.
were you in motion or were you out of motion?
Somewhere between putting from the brakes to the gas, as soon as the light turned green is when I remember the incident happening.
But you have to know if your car was moving at any point in time.
Your Honor, asking the answer. I think if she's asking it again, he answered it the best he knows how.
Yeah, Ms. Farr, you can move on because
You know if the vehicle was moving or not.
Ms. Farr, he said he didn't. He told you the best that he knows.
What, I didn't understand him.
He said it was somewhere between putting his foot on the gas, taking his foot off the brakes and foot on the gas, because as soon as the light turned green, that the hit happened.
He said you couldn't get it. Could you repeat it, please?
You know, this told the truth. The mic was breaking up.
Ms. Farr, Ms. Farr, you have another question?
Well, the mic was breaking up. I didn't
He
hear
said, do
you.
you have another?
No,
question?
he said, this was the answer he gave to your question, that it was as soon as the light turned green, he was taking his foot off the gas and taking his foot off the brake and foot on the gas, and that was when the hit happened.
Okay, I have another question.
Sure.
Okay, he said that he released his foot off the gas. and
Off
I-
the brake.
Yeah, I mean off the brake, and I hit him. Was it that instant?
I was looking at the red light. All I know is as soon as the light turned green is when I remember the incident happening.
I'm just asking, was it that instant?
As far as I can recall, yes.
Yes. Okay, now I have another question. If it applied at that instant, then if I impacted your hip at that point in time, your car was it able to move out of that position at that impact? I mean, what kind of distance did it give?
As far as I can recall, the incident pushed my car out into the intersection probably about 10 feet, I guess.
10 feet. I have another question.
I mean, it was a hard impact. The back of my car the trunk was crushed in all the way to the back windshield.
That's my question, because describing your car, can you describe it to me? Or can you describe your car to me after the accident?
It was just pushed forward from the impact.
No, I'm saying describe your car. I'm not describing the push. The impact, how did it look? Did it look under, upper, lower, side, angle?
Well, your vehicle was taller than mine, so it caved mine in pretty good, where I didn't see a whole lot of damage on yours. Maybe it was up under yours, but
I'm asking
it
you.
caved the whole back of mine in.
I didn't understand you.
It caved the whole back trunk. Both rear quarter panels was caved in. The whole back of it was pushed up to the windshield.
It was to the windshield?
Yeah.
Question for you. Was any of your lights broken out due to this impact?
Yeah, I'm sure there was.
Well, I have evidence showing it wasn't.
Ma'am,
Oh,
ask the question.
I have another question. From the impact, you say it was the impact, I want to know, where did all of the debris go? Did you notice that out there?
This part, right here.
Oh, did you notice any of the debris out there?
Yes, there was there was bits and pieces of plastic on the road, but mainly just crumpled the back of mine in.
I didn't understand you, I'm sorry.
I said there was bits of plastic and debris on the road, but mainly it just crumpled the whole back of my vehicle in.
Well, I'm mostly focusing right now on the lights. On the lights. You indicated the lights. I wanted to know about the lights and that I was trying to figure out.
I mean, they was broke. The bulbs might have been working, but the plastic part that the bulbs are in, I know those cracked all. Those shattered.
I'm asking you this again. You say that the lights were cracked. The previous, you said they were shattered everywhere on the ground. Which one was it?
Yeah.
It was kind of both. I mean, you can ask the officer about the damage to the back. He's seen it.
I'm just asking you, sir. Were they?
I mean, yeah, that was cracked. The bulbs might have been working, but the lens covers, they was all cracked and crumpled up.
Were they cracked on the car or on, because you said they were cracked? When something's cracked, that don't mean that it fell out. I could crack a window just because.
Ooh, Your Honor.
Miss Farr, we're getting deep into the minutia of it, and it's not really helping me. Whether there was debris on the ground or not doesn't tell me whether there was an impact. So I'm clear there was damage to the car. There was debris on the ground. If you have something that tells me more about it, then when you testify, then that's when I'll hear all of that. Did you have anything else for Mr. Underwood?
Okay, I have another question. It indicated, where were you going at the time?
I was going to. We had a motel room rented. My girlfriend's son, he lives in Griffin with his dad, and like I said, we'd left Six Flags, so we was going to the motel that we had rented down there, and we was grabbing something to eat on the way there as well.
I'd like to say something.
No, ask a question.
I'd like to ask this question. Did you have a navigation that was assisting you?
We was using Google Maps to try to find a restaurant.
Is that a navigation?
Yes, my girlfriend was using it on her phone.
Was it considered navigation?
Yes.
Ma'am, yes.
Okay, because I don't know, because you can say Google or navigation, you always tell me to be clear.
She said Google Maps.
Okay, and then I have another question. When you're using your Google Map, how much experience do you have with your Google Map?
Your Honor, I'm gonna object to relevance.
It plays a strong part.
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with it. I've used it on and off for years.
Okay, the reason why I was asking that.
No, ma'am, I don't need to know the reason. I just need you to ask the question.
Okay. Okay. He said he's known how to use it for years. Okay, that's my question. I'm done.
Okay. Ms. Janvier, did you have any other questions for Mr. Underwood?
No, not this time, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Underwood, you're excused at this time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
So I can go ahead and log out?
Yes, sir.
The meeting? Okay.
What?
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
What? All right, Ms. Janvier, did you have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Micah Milligan.
Officer
Hey, Your
Milligan?
Honor. Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay, who's calling me?
This is Alonzo Clayton. I was subpoenaed with Raina Perez, Miss Raina Perez.
All right, Miss Raina Perez has not appeared. Is
So am I free to go?
Hold on a second. Is Raina Perez in the courtroom? Okay, you're free to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. All right, Officer Milligan, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I swear.
All right, you can put your hand down at Ms. Janvier, your witness.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Uh, could you please state your name for the record?
Officer Micah Milligan.
And Officer Milligan, are you currently employed?
Correct. Clayton County Police Department.
How long have you been employed with Clayton County Police Department?
Coming up on 3 years.
And what is your title or role with Clayton County Police Department?
At the moment or at the time of the incident that we're here for?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
At the moment or at the time of the incident that we're here for?
You can answer both.
Currently, I'm assigned to the county's heat unit. At the time, I was assigned to uniform patrol for Sector 4 Morning Watch.
Okay. And as a part of uniform patrol, what are your duties?
Primarily responding to calls for service, which would include vehicle accidents or crashes.
Okay. And can you estimate approximately about how many vehicle crashes you responded to?
I'd say, I don't know, anywhere between maybe 50 to 75, maybe a little more.
Thank you. And do you have to have any particular training in order to become a police officer?
Correct. You have to go through the state requirements for your basic certification, basic law enforcement certification.
And did you complete those certifications?
That's correct.
And so you said you've been to approximately at least 50 or more vehicle collisions in which you were called to the scene?
Correct.
And when you're called to the scene of vehicle collision, what is the process that you take or the first steps that you take upon your arrival?
Typically, the first thing that I do is make contact with occupants of the vehicles, assess for injuries. Then I start collecting information and proceed with my crash investigation as best I can, looking at the nature of the damage, any type of potential roadway evidence, things of that nature.
All right. And at the conclusion of your crash investigation, are you usually able to make any determinations?
The majority of the time, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what are some things that would keep you from being able to make a determination?
It's fairly uncommon, but I've had situations where there might be like a side swipe. One person says, "Oh, they came into my lane," and another person says, "Oh, they came into my lane." Typically, it's something like that, but it's fairly uncommon.
All right, thank you for that. And let me ask you: were you on duty on the night of October 22nd, 2022?
Yes, ma'am. I had just come on shift. This was the vehicle crash that we're speaking about was the first thing that I responded to after completing my roll call at the beginning of shift.
Okay. And do you recall where you were dispatched to?
It was Terra Boulevard at the intersection of Old Dixie, right in front of the Arrowhead Shopping Center.
And what county is that located in?
That's Clayton.
And so at that time when you arrived on the scene, can you tell me what, if anything, was the first thing that you did?
I spoke with Mr. Underwood first just because of the direction of which I approached the crash location. Geographically, he was the closest vehicle to me. So I spoke with him and his occupants first, and then I moved over to the second vehicle, which was the vehicle Miss Farr was operating.
Okay. And you moved to the second. You moved over to the second vehicle. Did you then have the opportunity to speak with Ms. Farr?
Correct. At the exact moment that I approached her, she was still speaking with Clayton County Fire, who was on scene to assess for injuries. After she concluded her conversation with them, I began speaking to her. Yes.
And what, if anything, did she say to you?
She tried to tell me that the vehicle in front of her, that the vehicle stopped and came to a sudden stop, where she then crashed into the rear end.
And as a part of your investigation, did you note or observe any damage to the vehicles?
Yes, there was significant damage to the Mr. Underwood's vehicle, which was a white Volkswagen Jetta. And there was also pretty substantial damage to the front of Miss Farr's vehicle, which was a red Honda Ridgeline. Miss Farr's vehicle had airbag deployment due to the crash.
And did you have the opportunity to observe any debris or anything else that would indicate how the collision occurred?
I don't recall there being any large items of debris. I'm sure there were some minor debris items just due to the whatever pieces may have come off either vehicle. I don't recall there being anything overly significant.
And do you recall being able to, let me ask you this question additionally. So when you arrived on the scene, did the vehicles appear to be in the same place at which the collision occurred?
Give or take a few feet, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And after reviewing the damage to both vehicles and speaking with both drivers of the vehicle, were you able to make a determination?
I determined Miss Farr to be at fault for following too close.
And what things led you to determine that?
Based off the statements of both drivers, the nature of the damage, because I previously stated what Miss Farr told me. Mr. Underwood told me that he came to the stoplight, essentially what he said a few minutes ago when he was testifying himself. Came to the stoplight. He said that his GPS was telling him to make a left turn. He realized that there is a sign posted that says that that it would be unlawful for him to do so. So he proceeded to travel through the intersection at the time of the light changing. And at that time was when the crash happened. Ms. Farr did claim to have some type of dash cam footage, but she refused to provide it.
All right. And after concluding that Ms. Farr was at fault, did you issue her a citation?
Correct, for following too close.
Right. And are you able to identify in the courtroom today the person that you spoke with on that night?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Farr is on the courtroom cam, red shirt, black female.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes,
no additional questions at this time, Your Honor.
Right. So one question that the court has, Officer Milligan, when airbags deploy, do you all allow someone to drive their car away?
No, I don't. Ms. Farr took it upon herself to remove her vehicle from the scene, going against my instructions.
What's the normal course of action if airbags deploy in a vehicle?
We impound it. Because at that point, it's considered disabled and no longer safe to operate on a vehicle on a roadway.
All right, Ms. Farr, did you have questions of Officer Milligan?
Yes, I do. And I have a question about what you indicated with the airbags as well. Okay, I have a question for the officer. And as you had spoken before, when you arrive to put on your body cam for the day or whenever because you said before that you came on, do your body cam automatically go into start mode, or what are you supposed to do once you put it on?
By departmental policy, I'm to activate my body cam upon arrival on any scene.
On arrival is not consistent when you put it on and you're in your vehicle. It's just only when you get to the scene.
I'm not following your question. Are you asking me if I have it on at all times throughout my entire shift?
That's not what I asked. I'm asking you. You indicated, what time did you come on that evening?
Shortly, the start of my shift is 2200.
22, could you elaborate that time? Is that considered 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
That would be 10 p.m.
That would be 10? And at what point in time on your arrival on your shift do your body cam come on when you put on? What time do you activate?
It began recording when I arrived on your vehicle crash scene.
It doesn't begin recording at the time of you getting into your vehicle, starting your shift?
Your Honor, ask and answer.
So, Officer Milligan, here's the question. Does your body cam record all the time when you're on, as soon as you start duty, all the way to the end of when you stop duty?
No, ma'am. It records when it needs to record.
Okay.
If I'm on a scene or interacting with a citizen, by policy, my body cam will be activated. But if I'm at the precinct or just sitting in my car, not responding to anything or not handling any type of incident, there's no need for it to be recording.
Okay.
I have a question. Were you called to this scene? So if you were called to this scene, do your body cam come on at that time of your call?
I was dispatched to the scene, yes, ma'am, and my body cam began recording upon my arrival.
I'm asking on what do you mean by your arrival? Arrival in your car or arrival to the location?
My arrival at the scene.
Of the arrival of the location.
My vehicle is not a scene, ma'am.
No, I'm just asking you. The
When he
location.
said scene, location of the accident, ma'am.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
Scene, location of the accident.
That's my question to him.
That's what I'm saying. Scene. When he arrives on scene, that's arriving at the location of the accident, wherever he's been dispatched.
Right. So I'm asking, does his body cam come on right there at that scene of the accident that occurred on 10/22?
Officer
Do I
Miller,
need to answer you again?
I didn't hear you, sir.
Do I need to answer you again? Are you unclear on my answer?
I'm asking you again. When you come
Yes.
to the scene, your body.
he said yes, Ms. Farr.
Okay. I have another question for you, sir.
I'm listening.
I was looking at your body cam that was subpoenaed
Uh-huh.
on the USB drive, and it's authenticated. It's not the original. It's been pretty much refabricated. It's not dated. It's no consistency. It's nothing. So what I want to order on this matter is a forensic. If possible,
It's a who?
a forensic. In other words, I want
Ms. Farr? Ms. Farr? Ms. Farr? Ms. Farr? Stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Officer Milligan, do you provide the body cam to people who request it?
I do not. No, ma'am.
What do you do with your body cam at the end of whenever you film and you have completed filming for that incident? What do you do with your body cam?
Once I conclude the incident and recording ceases, it is automatically uploaded to the county servers, where at that point it is what it is. I have no ability to manipulate anything. I can simply put the case number and attach the case number to the video file. That's about it. Like I cannot change anything. I cannot alter anything. I cannot move where it's uploaded to. I have no control over it once it is uploaded.
Do you provide it to people who request it?
I do not. No, ma'am. That is something that they have to do through the records department.
That's right. Do you have any other questions of Officer Milligan?
Yes, ma'am. He had indicated. Now it's called chain. It's called chain of custody.
Yes.
And that's what the proper term is, chain of custody. In a chain of custody, and looking at the subpoena of this property that they had given me, is no consistency on any of the data, date, time of it's nothing there. It's overlap. So that's why I'm asking him.
Okay, but he's already testified that once it uploads to the computer, he no longer has any control over it. So your question would be fit for the person who's the keeper of the records, not for Officer Milligan.
Okay, so since that's not something that's been kept or the keep of his handling, my question to the fact is, because that was my evidence to the case. It's the evidence of the case. And if the evidence is not showing consistency, and if it was handled by other handlers, because the chain of command, if I subpoenaed this, all the chain of command should be attached along with that, showing all the handling, all the data, all that should be presented at the same time of the subpoena. And all that should be there. That was nothing consistent in there. All that was pre-recorded off something else. He took some kind of camera and pre-recorded pieces and pieces of what he wanted to present. And that's why I brought his original flash drive from a body cam on how body cams are presented as evidence in court. And that's why I wanted to submit this.
Okay, ma'am.
Presented to me is not the same type of chain of custody evidence.
Okay, did you have another question for Officer Milliken?
Well, I have another question to Mr. Officer Milliken. Why did, at the time of you come to the scene, you say to me that you didn't speak to me where I, with the gentleman of his vehicle, at the time you come to the scene, was I at his vehicle at any point standing with him in the center of him and his family? Because I was right.
Okay, Miss Farr, Miss Farr. It's hard. It's far. You have to ask one question at a time. You keep talking, and it's hard to see where your question is and where you're testifying. You're asking. Okay, hold on. You're asking Officer Milligan, were you standing with Mr. Underwood when he arrived on the scene?
Yes.
Was she standing with Mr. Underwood when you arrived on scene, Officer Milligan?
No, ma'am. I believe she was at her vehicle speaking with Clayton County Fire.
All right, next question, Ms. Farr.
Okay, I have another question. At the scene of the accident, I was noticing. Can I ask you a question, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Ask me the question.
Why can I mention anything about the USB drive that he submitted?
Well, you can ask all the questions you want to about the USB drive to somebody who knows about it. But if Officer Milligan is not the one who provided it, if the last contact he has is when his body cam automatically uploads to the computer, you're just gonna be wasting time because he's just gonna tell you he doesn't know.
Okay, I have an arraignment for that person. It's very important.
Miss Farr, this is your second bite at the apple. I gave you the opportunity to subpoena whatever and whomever you wanted to subpoena. When you were here before, you complained that something had been altered or it wasn't what you asked for or you didn't get what you were supposed to receive. So I gave you a continuance to get all of that. If you didn't subpoena the custodian of records, then we're not continuing this case for you to do that. I gave you time to do everything you wanted to do to prepare for this case.
Can I speak on can I state something what you just
No,
said?
ma'am. Ask a question of Officer Milligan so we can get him back on the street.
Okay, but I just want to say this now. They sent me a blank CD. It was nothing I done.
Okay, but I gave you the opportunity to get what you needed to get. So whatever they sent you initially, I gave you time to go back and get whatever it is you needed. Persons, documents, anything you wanted. So we're done. Ask Officer Milligan your next question, ma'am.
And I have another question for Mr. Officer Milligan. You had indicated that you had came over and spoken with me about the incident, to question me at the incident, at the time of the incident. When you came over to question me about the incident, did you demand my dash cam from me at any point? And if I didn't give it to you, you would take my vehicle away from me? Did this occur, or you recall this?
No, nothing even close to what you just said is what occurred.
Okay, so nothing like that occurred?
I'm pretty sure that's what I just said. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the reason why I asked you that,
Ma'am, I don't need to know the reason you're asking them. I just need you to ask the question. You don't have to explain every time you answer a question. Just ask the question.
okay, because my next question is going to reflect on that.
Go ahead and ask it.
Okay, because when you came to my vehicle, at the time you come to my vehicle, you wanted my statement. At any point in time before you came to my vehicle, did you take all of our IDs?
Yeah,
Did you take everyone's ID?
the driver.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
I obtained yours and Mr. Underwood's because y'all were the ones driving.
Now, I'm listening. Did you run our IDs?
Are you asking me if I checked the validity of your ability, your privilege to drive?
Yes.
Yes.
Did I have insurance?
Now that's not relevant to what I need to know.
Hush.
Ms. Farr, that's not relevant to what I need to know.
I understand because
Ms. Farr,
I understand.
I need to know what happened that caused your vehicle to impact Mr. Underwood's vehicle. Whether I don't care about insurance, people's privilege to drive. I don't care about any of that because it doesn't tell me the way the cars move that caused an impact.
Because the reason why I asked about
I don't want to know the reason why you're asking me. I just don't care.
Okay.
It's not relevant. It's not going to help me make a decision.
Then I have another question. When you came to check for my information, did I have at the time of the accident? I'd like to know. Let's see here. I'd like to know at the time of the accident. What lane was I in? And did you ask of me did you ask me what lane was I in at the time of the accident, or did you already know the lane? Wait, no, I kind of lost my train of thought. Let me start over. I apologize. Because I don't want to ask the question and give the answer at the same time. So let me reframe this. What I'm trying to say is, during the accident scene, at the point you said I hit his car and I hit it to a capacity. What was the capacity that you came up and determined how the car
Farr, Ms. Farr,
determination?
Ms. Farr, you're trying to ask it in a way that you think attorneys ask questions. And really, that's not how we ask questions. Simple is better. What did the cars look like when you came upon the scene? Where was one car position versus the other car position? Simple is better. And you don't have to explain to me why you're asking something every time. If I tell you it's relevant, it's relevant. If it's not, then move on. But I don't even know what you're trying to ask him. Like, where were the cars positioned? Is that the question?
Yes, because if
okay, that's it. Don't add no because. Where were the cars positioned, Officer Milligan, when you
briefly, sorry, before Mr. Freeman is not muted, and it seems like every time he talks, it's when Ms. Farr is talking, I couldn't hear like her question.
Okay, who's Mr. Freeman?
I don't know. Somebody at the bottom.
All right, Mr. Freeman, everybody else mute. All right, Ms. Farr. Okay, Officer Milligan, where were the cars positioned when you came up on the scene?
Both vehicles were in lane 1, which would be the closest one to the center median.
Okay, so would that have been the left turn lane or just the left continuation lane?
There is not a left turn lane, so all 4 lanes go straight.
Okay, and when you approached the vehicles, was one car past the line into the intersection?
The stop bar, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and which car was that?
The Mr. Underwood's vehicle.
Okay, and about how far into this intersection was that car?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say somewhere in the area of maybe 10 to 15 feet, maybe.
Okay, and was Miss Farr's car past the stop bar?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so her car was still behind the stop bar at the time?
If memory serves correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were cars able to go forward in the other 2 lanes that were there, the right lanes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the cars seemed to be pretty straight in the lane that they were in. There was no encroachment into the other lanes?
It did not appear as if either one was trying to get into a different lane. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, well, I wanted to know is like if either of the cars was positioned in such a way that other cars would have had to go around them to go straight.
When I arrived on scene, there was a fire engine blocking 2, maybe 3 of the 4 lanes.
Okay.
But there was still room for traffic to pass the crash scene.
Okay. All right, Ms. Farr, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, ma'am. You had asked him about where my car was positioned. My car was past that.
Ms. Farr, you're testifying. I'm asking questions. If you don't have a question, then I will give you the opportunity to tell me your side of the thing, your side of the case.
My question is to him, and to that question, he said you said my car was where? You said my car was where, sir?
I can't. If she's asking me something, I can't hear her.
He's asking where was her car again?
It was in the far left lane, lane 1, closest to the center median.
After the accident scene, you said my car was where? I know where the lane was, but where was it sitting?
Was it before or after the stop, past the stop bar, or on the inside of the stop bar?
I believe it was on the inside.
I have a question too, Ben.
Go ahead, Ms. Milligan. I mean, Ms. Farr.
On your US what is it called, USB drive?
Okay, Ms. Farr, I don't have the Ms. Farr, you can't ask questions about something that's not in evidence yet. You keep referring to something that nobody but you have seen.
I'm asking him, have he seen it? That's what I've been asking.
Well, don't keep saying on the USB drive. Ask him if he's seen the body cam.
I was trying to describe it.
Okay, but you keep referring to something that's not in evidence. If you're gonna refer to it, we have to first put it in evidence, because that way we'll know that everybody agrees that it's supposed to be seen by me. But you can't keep telling us something about something only you've seen.
Can we put it in evidence then?
Do you have the ability to play the USB?
Well, that was the purpose of subpoenaing it. I asked you to subpoena it for this purpose, to present all this.
Okay, so go ahead. I don't know how to tell you to set it up in the courtroom, because I'm not in there.
Well,
there's a computer system in the courtroom that should be able to play it.
Is it just with her USB inside of it?
I mean, all I know is to put it on the overhead and let it play on the screen. But I don't know how that's going to interfere with the way the court hearing is playing. Ma'am, do you have a computer that you could play it on?
Well, yes, ma'am. When the purpose of me coming to court.
Okay, hold on, ma'am. Please stop saying the purpose of, because that's driving me nuts. Ms. Janvier, do you have the body cam that she's talking about?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any objection to the body cam being played?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Play it, please.
Wait just one moment here.
Okay. Then you can share screen and we can get that done. All right. So, Ms. Farr, it's going to play. But when it starts playing, we're going to watch it all the way till we're not going to ask questions while it's playing.
Wait, ma'am, I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're going to play it for the purpose of my questioning, then you're lacking me from trying.
Well, then write down your questions, and if you got questions about it, then we're gonna run it straight through the first time, because I'm not gonna keep stopping to have you ask 10 questions about every inch of the thing. We're gonna run it through first.
That's the only thing I'm trying to say now. See?
Watch the video, ma'am.
Because it's on.
Watch the video, Ms. Farr.
Your Honor, the video is 38 minutes.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing. Let's watch it, and I'll tell you when I've seen enough.
Okay.
Don't say anything.
Ms. Janvier, do you have sound? Is it playing sound, or is just nothing happening?
Can you hear it now?
A little bit.
Is your vehicle able to move?
far as we can tell, we tried it. It just happened. We just moved. I don't know if it'll go forward. Maybe the wheels ain't blocked on that side. Okay. Were all of y'all in this vehicle? Yes. Yes. And nobody's injured? No, we shouldn't be all right. Okay. It's just like, all right. Is this where it happened right here? Okay.
So Lord traffic was going. This gentleman was driving. He wanted me to say he wasn't young.
Right.
I he wanted to turn.
Right.
He started to put a that's not the question, and that's not it.
But this is where it happened, right? That's what I just asked you. Ma'am. Hey, look, hey, don't do that. Ma'am, come over here. That's fine. Okay.
On an illegal turn.
I got you.
Illegal turn.
I got you.
So what do you mean I knocked her?
I didn't say you knocked her.
No.
I asked you if this was where it happened, and you said no, and then you pointed over there. So this is where it happened.
No. I didn't say that. You told me that it happened. I didn't say that.
I'm asking you.
I said it happened with my car. That's what I said.
Okay. Give or take 15, 20 feet, this is where it happened.
Like I said, my car's right here. I just that's where it happened.
Okay.
Okay? Her stuff, when it hit, everything is shattered.
Okay.
It was not right when it shattered.
You have your license on?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can I have you? I'm not aggressive with you. I asked you a question and you're giving me an answer that doesn't apply to my question. Do you have your license on? Okay.
You can stop it.
Okay. But I need your license. Okay. Were you wearing your seatbelt?
Yes, I was. My driver's license, he had my license as well.
Fantastic. All your modified section. Okay. Complaining of any injuries?
Your Honor.
Who was driving this car? Yeah, your license.
Yes, deputy.
She advised you can stop the video right there.
She doesn't get to advise me when I can stop a video. I told her we were going to watch it until I saw what I needed to see. And then if she had questions, we would ask the questions. But she doesn't get to tell me what to do.
Ma'am.
She needs to watch the video.
Don't she know this is my courtroom?
Was everybody in your vehicle wearing seatbelts? Do y'all have a way to get wherever it is that you're going? Y'all have somebody come to get you? We actually have a room in here at the register meeting. That's where we get the car down there. It comes down straight down this way. I'm not familiar with this area. Closest railroad thing I know of in Morrow, which would be the next exit down. You know the address? It's South Lake Plaza Drive. It's the only red roof inn I know of. That's the GPS. And okay, so y'all were trying to go that way? Well, when we come to a stop, there was a red light. And I was in this lane over here, and I come over here because the GPS was saying that way. Well, it turned green. I'm looking up at the light, and I see that no turn sign. Boom. If you notice their wheels, they're still going straight. I never even had a chance to try to make a turn. Yeah, that looks like it's down in Morrow.
No,
Oh, that's Griffin. That's close to Griffin. Okay, yeah, so y'all would be going in the right direction. I don't know why I'm telling you to do a youth option. So it was red when you stopped. Yeah, and I just switched lanes from that lane up there over here. Okay. And the light turned green. I'm looking up at the light as it turned green. Okay. I see the sign says no turn that way. Okay. Okay. When
Right there.
on investigation, you can talk to whoever you want to when we're not in the middle of the street. What year, sweetie? All right. Where do they live? Is that the address on your license? Actually, no.
You can go forward a little bit more, Ms. Janvier.
147 what?
All right, let's see.
That's fine. But let me get you your case number and get wrapped up with you first, okay? Man, will you step over here, please?
I did not hear her call from this distance. That's just pop.
Ma'am, things move when you get into a car accident, okay?
I'd rather take it to trial. I'd rather fight it all the way to trial. He was not supposed to be in the driver's seat. He jumped slid all along that window in that car.
Miss Barr, what's a good phone number for you?
What's my report? Where are you going to take my report?
I'm about to. What's your phone number?
My phone number is 7.
All right, you can move past that, Ms. Janvier.
That's going to be figured out.
So,
Camera got it.
can I see the footage?
Oh, I got it. I want to see what you say. I want to take it all the way to court.
Can I see the footage?
No, I'm going to take it to court.
Okay.
I'm going to see what kind of lie you
So, let me ask you this.
Hello? Is this the tow truck? Yes, Muhammad? Yeah, I gave Muhammad the address where I'm at. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm right in front of work.
Ma'am, I've got a tow truck coming.
So I got a tow truck.
You have to use mine.
No, I'm going to use mine.
It's going to take them too long to get here. How long?
Sir, I'm using my tow truck.
How long?
I had a right license.
Not when it's a vehicle accident.
Sir, you don't know what.
How long?
So right now,
How
you
long?
take my report yet.
How long?
You didn't take my
Just
report.
because you won't get off the phone to talk
Yeah,
to
I
me.
got a tow truck.
How long? That's because I have to get these vehicles out of the roadway.
I can't hear. What you say?
All right, I've seen enough. Miss Janvier, you can stop share. Ms. Farr, I have always hated the charge obstruction of an officer because I think sometimes that it just goes over the top when it comes to like, okay, you're investigating and somebody says something, you're gonna charge them with obstruction. I really have. I've always hated that. But that, you just presented the clearest case for why that charge exists that I've ever seen. They're in the middle of an investigation and he's trying to get cars out of the roadway so that people can be safe. And you are intent on doing your own thing. And I have never seen such an egregious, just wow. I just am so clueless. Like, I'm surprised he didn't charge you with obstruction. You claim he mishandled you and he was rude. And I saw no evidence of that. What I saw was frustration because you got two whole groups of people in the middle of the street on a busy night on Terra Boulevard where we have accidents all the time. And his job is to safely clear the accident scene. And you calling your own tow truck and you're just doing your own thing. I don't understand it. Like, if anybody should have been taken to jail for obstruction, ma'am, it's you. I've just never seen anything like this. Literally, he is trying to, you tell him I got it on dash cam. Well, ma'am, can I see that? No, I'm just, Okay, it's okay to take it to trial, but ma'am, you're not following any directions. You're not listening. You're doing whatever you want to do. He's trying to clear the scene, which is his first and highest priority, to safely get people out of the roadway so that traffic can go on unimpeded and nobody's hurt. And you have stood in the way of all of that. I don't ever have a problem with people bringing their case to court because that's what it's here for. That's your constitutional right. But with respect to how you act on the scene, that's why a lot of things go awry. And I just never seen anything like that. And you are lucky all you got was a traffic offense charge, and you only got one. Now, as I see the video, your car was well past the stop bar. It was back to the part where your truck bed starts. So you had gone all the way almost through the intersection, pushing the other car into the intersection. Now, I'll let you testify because I think that we're getting nowhere with questions. And I've seen the video, so you can tell me what you think happened. But understand that a lot of the aftermath of this was you. The reason I asked about the airbags deploying is because I've been in an accident where airbags deployed in my vehicle, got hit in the chin, and I know that you don't get to drive your car away or possess your car once the airbags come. They'll call a tow truck for you. You find out where the car is. You can go get your stuff out of it later, have it repaired if you choose to do that. But that's how it goes because they're trying to clear the accident scene. You did everything but comply with what was necessary to make that scene safer. So now, Ms. Janvier, did you have any other questions for Officer Milligan?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So, Officer Milligan, Ms. Janvier, you can hold him if you want to for rebuttal or further questions, but I'm going to get Ms. Farr's testimony and then I'm going to make a decision. Raise your right hand, Ms. Farr. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You understand that you have a right to, you can put your hand down. You have a right to remain silent and you do not have to give any testimony or evidence in this case.
But I would like to.
I understand that, but you understand nobody can force you to testify. And you wish to testify and give up your right to remain silent.
Yes.
All right. Tell me what happened.
Okay. I'm going to respond to the video.
No, just tell me what happened, ma'am. Not respond to the video. Just tell me what you recall happening on that night. Because the video doesn't tell me what happened at the accident. It only tells me where y'all were positioned when the officer arrived on the scene. You got to tell me what happened to cause the collision. Because the video doesn't tell me that. It's not going to.
Can I say something about it?
No, ma'am. Just tell me how the accident happened. It starts with, I was driving on Terrell Boulevard, southbound, northbound. I don't care which bound, but tell me.
Like I indicated before, I was driving. I was coming off a job. I do pressure washing. I was coming off a job from East Point, off of 75 to my property down in Jonesboro, Fort Lovejoy. So I would consider that to be going southbound. I'm not sure.
That's fine.
Okay, so when I was coming down southbound, I was in the left lane consecutively because I was behind the other vehicle consecutively. We were driving down that southbound area, and as we were driving, all of a sudden just stopped. It was no way I can react to his stop. So when he stopped, it hit. If I would have hit him, as he indicated he was sitting there, it would have lodged this car further out. When you're on the brake, it doesn't allow your car to go that far distance. That's why his car was not far away, because he was on his brake to turn. That's why you don't see no skid marks on the ground, because I didn't skid. It was just an instant impact. It was instant. There was no reaction to do nothing but hit. That's what occurred. It hit. There was no stop, no skid, nothing. That's why you didn't see any skid marks anywhere. Not only did that occur, at the time of the accident, when he stopped, as you look at the video, his lights is all in there. Only light is missing was the red light. If you look at the video, there's a red light that's missing. Is laying, if you look back at the video, in the grass to the left of my car. That's where the red light from his left driver's side had come off. If you look at the rest of the lighting, the lights are there. They're cracked, like he said. As you look at the video again on the accident that's occurring, because the video that's appearing to you is not the original video. It doesn't have data. It's not reading dates. It's not reading nothing. That's a lap over picture recording. It's lapped over. It's not the original. That's why I wanted to bring in what the police officer body cam looks like as evidence. I had it downloaded. This is what a body cam looks like on evidence.
Ma'am, I've been on the bench 10 years. I've seen a ton of body cams. Trust. I know what they look like. Go on.
It consecutively shows the date, time, and everything.
Okay, ma'am, but I don't, that's not information that's relevant to me. He arrived at the scene. It was a continuous video where he went over to talk to Mr. Milligan and his group. Then he came to talk to you. The EMS guy was talking to you when he came over. He went back and he came back when you were finished with the EMS guy. Now what else?
Ma'am, I'd like to say, I don't mean no disrespect to you, but that's not true.
I saw the same thing. I just saw the video, ma'am.
I just want to say something. I don't mean no disrespect again to you.
So you think somebody took the time to alter your video because of all the accidents that happened in Clayton County of all the years, they decided that yours was the one that needed to be altered because what?
Okay, like I was trying to say, no disrespect to you. Yes, I do believe it's been altered because the way that it was created, as if I appeared to be the aggressive one, as I appeared to be the one that was out of the order. And that's not true. If it was consecutively, and if it was dated with the time, as it shows on all these different, even I had pulled up one from Clayton County just recently where an officer had got shot, and they were showing the data, everything on that consecutively. And that is not showing none of that consecutively. That is an overlap of a picture of a camera that overlapped that in court. He got pieces and pieces. And that's what is appearing, pieces and pieces, because when he came up to our car, we were all in the middle. He told me, he yelled in my face, get away, because I'm the one who ran over there to the people. I got out the car after the bag smashed in my face. Like I told you in the beginning, I got out the car immediately, jumped out of my car and rushed to them. And they
okay, ma'am, but all of that doesn't help me because a body cam doesn't tell me how the accident happens. All it does is show me where the cars are positioned if y'all have not moved them after the accident. What I need is people who were there to tell me what happened. Now, you keep acting like you're in pain, but really, all I need you to tell me is what happened when you were driving. That's all.
Trying not to interrupt you, and only way I can relax.
Because a body cam doesn't tell me anything. Officers never see the scene. They never see the actual accident unless there's an officer sitting right there. He wasn't sitting right there.
Okay,
he had to be dispatched to the scene. So where the collision occurred, he wasn't there. His body cam wouldn't have captured any of that. What I saw was the position of the vehicles after they had been impacted, if they have not been moved. I don't know whether they've been moved or not. You all say they hadn't, so I'm going to take your word for it. But you just told me you were driving down the street. You saw this gentleman and he was on his brake and he broke and you crashed right into him. Okay. What else do I need to know?
Okay, ma'am. Mind if I take a breather? Because this is so.
Ma'am,
I just want to take this off because I feel like I'm choking and I just want to.
yeah, I don't know why you have it on. That's up to you. Go ahead.
I'm 60 years old. I'm not no young thing no more. So I get.
Neither am I, ma'am. You got me by 5 years. Let's go.
I'm a little hyped up, and my heart is pumping because this is overwhelming to me. I've never seen something so authenticated. It's so scrutinized, and there's no original document or evidence that this man put together here. This is not original. This is all put together in his format, and then it reflects me. And I'm an African American woman, and I don't need this.
So am I, ma'am.
Let's
keep it moving.
I am not trying. I want the whole feature to be shown. I want it from point of him walking up to us consecutively. If you continue to watch that in the beginning of that video, it is nothing appearing that the date, time, or nothing. I have even walked in this courtroom and asked this gentleman here, I said, do your cameras consistently show date, time, and everything? He says, yes. There's nothing on that camera showing that.
Okay, ma'am. So this is what I'm gonna do.
So that is overlap.
I'm gonna disregard the whole video. I'm gonna take into account what Mr. Underwood told me, what Officer Milligan told me, and what you're telling me. I'm gonna disregard the video. Now, is there anything else you need to say to me?
I don't want the video to be disregarded.
Ma'am, is there anything else you need to say to me? Because if you're talking about a video being altered, then you need to talk to the police department and maybe bring some kind of investigation to them, not to me. There's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is disregard it because you said that it's been altered.
Okay.
Did you have anything else to tell me about how the collision occurred?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. On the disregarded video.
Okay, no, we're not talking about that because I'm disregarding it. Tell me from your experience how the incident occurred. Because you're telling me that the video has been altered, but now you want to use it. No, you can't have it both ways.
I understand.
You're either going to use the video and we're not going to complain about the quality of it, or you're not going to use the video and you're going to tell me what happened. But I don't have all day for this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I'm going to say, like I was going down southbound, the gentleman slammed on his brakes to make illegal left. Whatever he did and whatever he realized later, I don't know. From my observing of this accident, as I got out of the car, I looked at him first. I took pictures of the vehicle at the same time. And the pictures that I presented to you on my phone at the time I saw you is the same that I have here. And when I went to this gentleman at the time of the accident, we were all in this group together. I was asking him how was his condition and his family. Then after I walked away from him, that's when the officer came up. That's when his performance started. He just was not too far away. The precinct is not far from the incident.
Okay, but what's that got to do with where the cars were?
Because the reason why I say that about where the cars were, because as you look, I don't know what evidence we're going to use anymore. What are we going to use as evidence anymore?
Your word, ma'am. Just tell me what's going on.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a little vision of the parking area so I can kind of point what's what. This is Burger King's. I'm just trying to give you the, you know what I mean? And this is Arrowhead. That's the street called Arrowhead in Old Dixon. I'm just trying to put it in a way that we can all understand it.
I got you.
So this is the cross street. These are the lights in the middle of the cross street. As if you go back and if you decide to view whatever you would like to review, he's under that light.
Okay.
He's under that cross light. And if you go back, I don't know how to say this, but if you back up and where the people's supposed to cross the street, the line, I'm beyond that. And then that light
And when you say beyond that, meaning you're beyond it into the intersection or beyond it before you get the intersection?
Well, what I'm trying to say is the
No,
light.
no. I know you said that bar, that line that you crossed, or you said I'm beyond that. Focus on what I'm asking you. Because you don't answer the question that's asked. You go on to something else. So that bar, is your car in front of that bar into the intersection, or is it behind that bar?
It's behind the bar.
Okay. Did you ever move it?
No. Wait a minute. Excuse me. I apologize. My tail of my truck
Was behind the bar?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now go
The
on.
rest of my piece is beyond the bar.
Okay.
Okay. And then so when the impact hit the car, I don't know if you're going to view it or not, but the impact that hit the car, it was because I couldn't react. It just quickly, I mean, this, what can you do when we're all following the traffic, we're all driving.
And then somebody slams on brakes and then you have trouble braking behind them. Is that what you tell?
Yeah, it's not like I can, just try to jerk or go, or I didn't have a reaction to stop. It just, he just stopped.
All right, so can I explain to you now?
Then as we go on throughout the accident, that's when we spent time debating about my dash cam. And
okay, I don't need to know any of that because you just told me exactly. No, listen to me. I don't need to know about the debate about the dash cam because you just told me how the accident happened. You said that Mr. Underwood was approaching the intersection. He slammed on his brakes. You couldn't stop because you had to slam on your brakes because he stopped too abruptly. Is that what you said?
Basically, I'm saying that he did something unexpectedly that I wouldn't expect how to react to.
Okay, so what you're saying is, are we clear? Can we agree that he stopped and you weren't expecting him to stop and you could not stop to avoid the accident?
I can't read his mind.
No, ma'am. I'm out. You once again. You're not listening to my question. Can we agree that he stopped abruptly and then you could not stop in time to avoid the accident?
Explain your abruptly. What do you mean?
You said he stopped. You weren't expecting him to stop right away. Boom, he stopped.
To make a turn because his car is in an angle of turning.
Okay, that's not what I saw, but okay. But whether he was turning or not, his car came to a stop and you could not stop to avoid the accident. Are we on the same page?
Can I say something to you?
No, answer my question.
I can't answer without asking that
question. Could you listen to me first? His car came to a stop, yes or no?
He stopped.
Okay. And you could not stop to avoid the accident, yes or no?
I didn't know he was going to stop, so I didn't know what to do. I didn't even, it's like, bam. But I don't know how to explain that.
Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Okay.
But all right. What you said what you saw the video, but if I say something about the video, they say.
No, ma'am. That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying what you told me. You said his car stopped unexpectedly. Is that what you said? Listen to me, ma'am. Don't look at papers. Just listen to what I'm saying. His car stopped unexpectedly. He did something I didn't expect. That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I didn't know what to do. Is that what you said?
Okay, can I say something, please?
No, I'm asking you to answer the questions because you just keep adding forward.
I don't understand your question to my point.
I'm just asking you what you said.
I want to answer your question to my point of view. So I want to be able to get my point of view so I can understand I'm sorry, this is the way I think. And that's just how I have to put it out. So what I'm saying to you is, it's like we're all walking in the crowd. It's like we're all walking and all of a sudden someone stops. You're going to fall into it. So that's
okay, man. All right.
Stop. We're going to go like that.
Okay.
And that's how this was.
Okay, then that's it. That's all I need to know. Miss John VA, did you have any argument at this time?
No, Your Honor, the state would submit on the evidence.
All right. So, ma'am, you told me how the accident happened. That's all I need to hear. All that other stuff that comes after that is not going to help me make a decision. So, here's the issue. You have just explained to me classically what it means to be traveling too close to someone, because if you had enough car lengths in between you, even if they made an abrupt stop, then you would have had the ability to stop prior to hitting their car. So because you didn't stop prior to hitting their car, that meant that you were traveling too close to them. Even if somebody's driving and they make an abrupt stop or an abrupt movement, you should have enough car lengths between your vehicle and their vehicle to prevent an accident. If you have a collision, it means you were traveling too close. All right. So at this time, the court is going to find you guilty of the offense of traveling too close or driving too close and an accident occurred. Ms. John VA, do you have a recommendation for a sentence in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, $250 fine.
All right. Ms. Farr, the fine is $250 with the surcharges. It's going to be about three something. I have a fee schedule. I can tell you right now. $250 fine is going to be $371.25 with the surcharges. Did you wish to pay that today, or do you need up to 60 days in which to pay?
Well, I'll take the 60 days.
All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and you should need to do this before you leave the building, is go down to the second floor. When you come back through the double doors, go to the traffic court window. At the traffic court window, they're going to give you your paperwork, and they're going to also tell you when the 60th day is that it has to be paid by. You can make periodic payments, or you can pay it all at once. It doesn't matter as long as it's paid by the 60th day. Also, you can ask them about paying online or by phone, so you don't have to come back up to the courtroom. All right. Did you have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have the right to appeal this?
Yes, ma'am. You have the right to appeal within 30 days of the court's verdict. I'll be signing that verdict sheet today. So within the remember the appeal is 30 days. The payment is 60 days. So go ahead, and if you're going to appeal, you have to do it within the 30 days. All right. You can take all your evidence with you.
All right.
All right. Thank you.